Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to do this look, which is probably the most highly requested look that I've had in a while as far as people commenting, can you please do this makeup look? I had this look on in my How I Apply Cream Blush video. I know if you watched that video, you're like, no you didn't. Here's what I changed. I had already done a cutaway to how I did my exact eyes in that video in another video, and I'm gonna cut away to it in this video as well. So I did not want to be redundant on top of redundant, so I still used one of the Chantecaille eye duets. I just used a different shade, just to give y'all something a little bit different since I had already in another video shown how I did those eyes. So if you want to see how I got this look, slash the look I had on in that video, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, we're not going to do anything super fancy as far as changing how we apply makeup, so let's start with foundation. I used my MAC Studio Fix in that video, and this is the reformulated version. It has been years since I used the original. One major upgrade they made is adding a pump to this one, so I'm all about it. This is in the shade NW25. I know a lot of people requested me to do my MAC eyeshadow palette for my kit from that video, and I'm definitely gonna do that. And I'm also gonna do a separate version of a full full face of MAC, because I have a lot of MAC products, some new, some old. I think I'm gonna do a comprehensive video. This one's gonna take much longer because I'll need to do a lot of research and note taking and wear tests, but a comprehensive video on all of MAC's foundations, comparing, contrasting. I did one with NARS. MAC has a lot more than NARS. I did one with Chantecaille. MAC has a lot more than Chantecaille. So it's gonna take longer, and I may even have to do it in 2 parts. So I will talk more about that. All of that to say, I will talk more about this foundation in those videos. But it is what I had on in my cream blush video. I also had on my MAC Studio Radiance Concealer. If you missed my concealer video that I put up last week, I will put a card up here, as well as try to remember to link it down in the description box. Y'all, that one's not to be missed. Neither is this concealer. So I use 2 shades because I have them and I like how they look mixed. And the whole purpose of that video was how I apply my cream blush underneath concealer, and I just put concealer on. Well, we'll make it work. So I'm just gonna use my BK Beauty 109. My foundation brush was the It Cosmetics 115. I will have all the brushes that I used listed and linked underneath the makeup that I used in my description box. I obviously used cream blush since that was the point of the video, but I also used cream bronzer, and this is newer to me. I got this at the beginning of the month after I fell in love with their foundation stick. This is the LYS bronzer stick. I had mentioned in that video that I wanted this, so I promptly purchased it, and I have the shade Motivate. I love this. I love the color. Putting it higher up than I would, everything's backwards in the viewfinder. I'm putting it higher up than I would like a contour, because that's not what I'm doing. I just want to bronze up my face. This is the Anissa Beauty Buffing Bronzer Brush, and I'm really just gonna stipple that in. So I've been having a lot of trouble lately with powder bronzers separating on my forehead. I have no idea why. It doesn't matter what SPF, what foundation, it does not matter. They will just start separating and patching off more so than usual. Some foundations will cause that to happen, and they're typically ones that I don't love. But I have noticed that when using this bronzer just on my forehead, if I plan on using a powder bronzer everywhere else, really helps that separation from happening. So even though this is the only product that I use for bronzer in that specific video, lately I have been 75 to 80% of the time putting it just on my forehead and then topping it with a powder bronzer and using a powder bronzer on my cheeks. And I don't have issues with it patching off. Just like the foundation stick, I really, really like that one. Now for cream blush, Yes, I should have done this before concealer, but I am not going to use the one I used in that video just because, again, you can go back and watch that video and see me actually apply that part of my makeup. So I'm going to use another one that I have been reaching for a lot lately, and I don't think I've talked about this on camera despite having had it since June of this year. This is the Clé de Peau Cream Blush in the number 4. This is a beautiful neutral pink blush with a little bit of a sheen to it. And when I say sheen, I don't mean sparkle, shimmer, glitter, none of that. It's just, it gives like a nice glow to the skin without being too much. And it truly is, let me swatch it for you. Just, can you see that? Hopefully. I don't know why I swatched it in that most random place. It's just a beautiful neutral pink blush. I wear it with everything. And this is the Sigma Soft Angled Cheek F43. It is buildable, like it's pretty, it's not sheer, but it's light when it first goes on. It's definitely not as pigmented as the Rare Beauty. So if that's something you don't like about the Rare Beauty blushes, you're like, oh no, the pigment, it's a little too much for me to control while applying. This is gonna be something you like because it is definitely a buildable formula. It goes on light, but you can add a couple layers to get some more coverage, and you can see the sheen that it gave on my cheeks. Now I am going to set my face, and I used my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. This is in the shade Medium Plus. I have used this for years, talked about it in lots of other videos. It is a very lightweight powder that does have it, like you do need to buy it according to the tint of your skin, but it's also very forgiving. I could use medium dark in this, and it's also not so tinted that it covers up the blush and bronzer that I applied on the face. But it's one that you can just keep on adding and keep on adding and keep on adding, and it's not gonna look like you have powder on. Oh, and I use the Lawless Multi-Use Powder Brush for that step. And then finally for the face, I'm gonna use a highlight, and I used my Clinique Chubby Stick Highlight, Sculpting Highlight Illuminator in that video. This has been a favorite of mine for so long. I just put a little bit. Do I need a highlight? No, that blush really just gives a highlight. Do I want one? Yes. I mean, I never say no to more glow in the right spots. This is one that is a cream formula, but if you're someone who doesn't like the creams that I tend to like the Westman Atelier or the Victoria Beckham or the Merit that are very tacky and almost don't dry down, this one is not gonna be near as tacky. And it's just this really pretty, very lightly pink champagne shade. And this sucker will last you forever. All right, let's go on to the eyes. Now, I probably mentioned this in the intro, but I am going to switch up the eye shade that I use, but it's gonna be the same product. It's the Chantecaille Cassis Eye Duet versus the Silver Willow Eye Duet, which I had on in that video. And I do think a lot of the reason people asked for this makeup look is for this eye look. However, I showed this eye look in a cutaway in the video before that, which I will also cut away to right now. I basically put on the matte shadow all over my lid up into the crease, blended it into the crease, and then I took a finger and put that shimmer shadow on top, put a little bit of the matte shade on the bottom, and I was good to go. So that is how I did that look, and I'm gonna do the exact same look, just using a different color, just so it's not redundant. Because even though I did not do that in that video, I did in the video before, and again, for sake of redundancy, I wanna show this really beautiful Cassis Eye Duet and basically do the exact same thing, where I will take this burgundy purple shade. I'm gonna really concentrate it on my lid. I'm gonna take some up into the crease, but I want the main pigment to be on my lid because I'm just gonna take a brush and blend that crease. I'm keeping a little bit of extra space right here where I'm not putting a ton of pigment, because sometimes when this type of color gets too close to the inner corner, it can start making you look a little sick. So I find leaving a little bit of space and maybe adding like an inner corner highlight really helps that from happening. This is an Alter Ego 203 brush, and then I blended it out with a Refer 15. I have a lot of creasing on my eye for my eye primer. I've been using the Tom Ford cream concealer stick as an eye primer because I honestly never reach for it as a concealer, and I don't want something that expensive to go bad. But it creases so bad on my eyelids. And then I'm just gonna take this really pretty, it's almost like a duochrome. It goes between bronze and that burgundy shade depending on how the light hits it. Oh, it's so pretty. And I'm just gonna take that on my index finger and press that on top of the lid. So you're still gonna be able to see that matte burgundy. Oh, UPS is here. Zeus is about to have a fit. So you can still see that burgundy pull through underneath, but you can also see it in the crease, but it just adds this beautiful shift. Ooh, it's so pretty. Yes, you can use a brush for this step, but I feel like you get the most amount of pigment using your finger when it comes to most any shimmer shadow, and that holds true with these as well. I'm gonna take this Refer number 3, this tiny little pencil brush. I'm actually gonna put some of that shimmer shade on, and I'm gonna use that under the lash line because I don't want anything super smoky. Now in that other video I used the matte gray, but this burgundy is much darker than that matte gray. So I'm gonna see if I like this. I might add a little bit of the burgundy. I don't always use shimmers under the lash line, but I just feel like it might work for this. Kind of like that. I don't know if it's gonna come across on camera or not, but it's the effect I was hoping for. Now in that video, I used my Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. I love this mascara so much. I think I'm gonna put one in my cart for the Sephora sale because despite having probably 20 mascaras in my backup drawer to try out, I just really like this one. It separates, it lengthens. So I'm gonna do that and then we'll finish off with lips. I realized I forgot to do an inner corner highlight. So the palette that's closest to me is the Lawless Dreamy Dozen number 2. So I am gonna take the shade Glaze and just put a little bit on the inner corner and kind of fill in that little area where I didn't put anything. So it kind of looks more finished. Nothing new when it comes to lips. City Lips, my favorite lip gloss. This is in the shade Pink Nude, which is the shade I had on in that video. And probably my second favorite shade next to Tokyo Kiss, which I keep in my purse. All right, this is it. This is the exact look, barring different eyeshadow shades and a different blush that I had on in my How I Apply Cream blush video. I will have everything listed and linked down below per usual. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day.